Magandang araw at tayo po ay magpapatuloy sa ating pong pag-aaral ng The Bible Jesus Read, a study of the Old Testament based on the book by Philip Yancey. So ito po ang pangalawang part ng ating pong pag-aaral on the book of Psalms. Many Christians look to the Psalms as their favorite book of the Bible. Actually, marami pong mga churches ang nagsisimula ng kanilang mga services sa pamamagitan ng pagbabasa mula sa Book of Psalms. Para po kay author Philip Yancey, however, for many years, iniwasan niya po ang Book of Psalms na para bang kailangan, talagang ayaw niyang basahin. And how can something so heartfelt and emotional be so repulsive to someone who studies the Bible? Parang pinandidirihan halos ni Philip Yancey ang pag-aaral po ng Psalms. Kasi most people, maganda naman po yung kanila pong intention, pero they refer to Psalms like a spiritual medicine cabinet. O, depressed ka ba? Basahin mo ang Psalm 37. Ano ba? Masama ba pakiramdam mo? Parang feeling mo may sakit ka? Basahin mo ang Psalm 121. So parang nagre-reseta sila na basahin mo lang yung Psalms para bumuti yung pakiramdam mo. While this is a simple approach and well-meaning naman, however, this is a dangerous approach. And kung gusto po natin na mas lalo pa pong maintindihan yung Bible at yung mensahe po nito, hindi po pwede yung ganong klaseng style. So, kinuwento po ni Yancey dito po sa kanya pong libro na kung paano gusto niya po na ma-enjoy po yung Psalms. Nagbakasyon po siya sa Breckenridge, sa Colorado. At napakaganda po ng lugar po doon. Iisip niya na baka yung environment lang para mas makuha niya yung yung mensahe ng Psalms. Pero at the end of his 3-week vacation, sobrang mas lalo pa siya na-frustrate. Buti na lang na-realize niya na he was looking at the Psalms in the wrong manner. Kasi masyado siyang yung detalyeng, maling mga detalye ang kanyang tinitingnan. Yung mga categories nito, yung mga interpretative meaning, logical consistency, etc. Kasi the point of the Psalms is para siyang sampling ng spiritual journals. Para siyang personal letters to God. And para mas ma-appreciate natin siya, parang nakikibasa ka sa isang sulat. They are meant to be read over the shoulder. They use a different approach, not so much as God representing Himself to the people, but the people representing themselves to God. The Psalms are tayo bilang mga tao sa harap ng Diyos, presenting ourselves. God, ito po ako. This means that they are no less valuable to us than the epistles or the gospels. Hindi ibig sabihin nito na mas mababa ang value po ng Psalms compared sa epistles, sa gospels where we get our theology, but they belong in the Bible as much as Job or Ecclesiastes does. The Psalms do not offer theology, but as poetry, they offer images and stories that resonate with us as believers. Ayon po ito kay Kathleen Norris sa kanyang sinulat na The Cloister Walk. Bakit po importante na malaman po natin kung paano basahin ang Psalms bilang parang mga sulat or parang mga journals? Kasi, taking any one of the Psalms on its own without the context of the rest of the book can mislead. For example, si Satan, he quoted from the Psalms and he tempted Jesus to take the easy way to a false salvation. Ito po yung danger when we take the Psalms sa kanilang without considering yung kanilang greater context po. So to properly read the Psalms, we must come to it not as a student wanting to acquire knowledge, but as a fellow pilgrim wanting to have a relationship. Kailangan nating basahin na ano ang matututunan ko mula sa Diyos sa relasyon nung psalmist with God, and how does this affect my relationship with God? Ganito po hindi yung anong principles kaya yung matututunan natin mula sa Psalms na ito. The Psalms give us a comprehensive record of how our spiritual journey and life with God works. So, gaya nga po na napag-aralan natin previously, ang Psalms ay compiled and divided into the 5 books. Na katulad po nung division po ng Pentateuch, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. Pero other than that, parang walang obvious na order yung pong 150 chapters po na yun. May mga Psalms that praise God at napaka-happy, biglang katabi, biglang napaka-depressing, at napaka-lungkot, napaka-tragic pa minsan ng mga text ng mga Psalms. From time to time, we see Psalms that lash out in anger, galit, and to the point na sana mamatay na po yung aking po mga kalaban. And from its beginning to its end, yung 150 chapters na yun, the Psalms is an emotional roller coaster. Highs, lows, unpredictable. And it is this seemingly random ordering of the Psalms that reminds us of our seesaw cycle of intimacy and abandonment. Yung ating pong relationship po with Jesus. Sometimes we feel so close to God, tapos biglang, Lord, nasan ka? Lord, close tayo ha. Talagang wag mo akong iiwan. Lord, nasan ka? Parang ganun po actually ang buhay. It is messy like life. The Psalms are as difficult, disordered, and messy as life itself. And this should bring us some measure of comfort na ang buhay Kristiyano is not neat and ordered as we would like it to be. Philip Yancey is also the author of another best-selling book called Disappointment with God. And muntik na halos na hindi ma-publish yung libro ngayon kasi yung mga publishers, they felt that it was too negative. Kaya ang pinopropose nila na title was Overcoming Disappointment with God. In the process of writing this book, however, he discovered that many of the people that we encounter in the Bible, such as si Moses, si Job, Habakkuk, Jeremiah, and yung mga psalmists po nito, they were unashamedly disappointed with God. Hindi po dinedeny ng Bible na parang hindi pinagbabawal ng Bible na maging disappointed po tayo sa Diyos. And it may seem strange for the Bible to include these writings, but this is a solid truth needed for our own spiritual healing. We need to recognize our anger and pain by loudly directing our feelings to God. This is a practice that is often pinipigilan po sa ating pong church. Parang, hindi, bawal ka malungkot. Bawal ka magalit sa Diyos. Kailangan rejoice in the Lord always. Hindi po ba? But from the Psalms, we learn that we can rightfully bring to God whatever we feel about Him. Gaya ng natutunan po natin sa Job, hindi tayo dapat mag-alala na may iskandalo ang Diyos sa ating pagbibigay ng ating emosyon sa Kanya. We also learned previously that the Psalms of Lament are by far the largest group of Psalms. Sabi ni Eugene Peterson, as much as 70%. And the rest of the Psalms, they focus on praise and thanksgiving. Ayon kay Eugene Peterson, these two large categories mirror the main conditions that describe our life in general. Mas maraming times yung pighati kesa yung pong times ng kasiyahan at joy. And if we are to take a survey of Christian bookstores today, actually, binabaligtad po yung proportions. Mas maraming books ang nagsasabi, 70% of the books and merchandise speak to our well-being, and then mas maliit po yung percentage na parang kailangan diyan ka lang. Dinideny natin na malungkot tayo. Kailangan laging masaya ang buhay ng Kristiyano. Parang heretical or parang blasphemy or kabaliwan kapag ka ikaw ay nag-try ka na mag-introduce ng isang libro sa isang Christian bookstore na mayroong negative sounding na title. Kasi karamihan ng ating po mga bookstores are filled with books telling about the victorious Christian life. Isang paraan po para po sa atin na makita po yung message and the beauty of the Psalms is to look at the contribution of yung pinakakilalang author po nito, si David. Dito po makikita po natin sa kanyang pong Psalms ang isang window or focus po, makikita po natin yung nilalaman ng kanyang pong puso. So makikita po natin diyan sa ilan po sa mga psalms po na may mga references. For example, yung pong nung siya po ay hinahabol ni Saul, yung kanya pong despair, yung gusto niya na matapos na po sana ito pong paghihirap po na ito, and that may God rise up against his enemies. Andiyan po yung nung si David po ay kinonfronta ni Nathan, ni Propeta Nathan, dahil sa kanyang adultery with Bathsheba, yung kanyang pagsisisi, that made the bones that you have broken rejoice. So, makikita po natin dito, among the Psalms that David wrote, he was writing from the heart. And he was writing about yung kanyang pakiramdam to God. Kasi simula nang tayo po ay maging mga Kristiyano, tayo po ay tinuruan na papasukin natin ang Diyos sa ating po mga buhay. From the moment of salvation to every moment of our daily lives. And sa ating pong busy world, ito pong pagpapapasok ng Diyos sa ating pong buhay, we have come to take this to mean na kailangan natin magbigay ng space for spiritual activities. So, pinupuno natin yung schedule natin ng mga gawain natin, pagdadrive, pagtatrabaho, spending time with the kids, pagkakaroon ng bakasyon, and then isinisingit po natin yung mga spiritual stuff. Pagbabasa ng Bible, church, Bible studies, personal Bible reading. Dito po sa Psalms, we see no such distinction between spiritual and secular. Makikita po natin dito si David sa example po na binanggit natin kanina, na wala pong distinction between yung kanyang buhay as a warrior and as a king sa kanyang spiritual life. This teaches us that hindi natin po kailangang mag-dress up or put your best foot forward to meet God. Wala pong kailangan na takpan tayo para makita lang ni God yung magagandang parte sa ating pong mga buhay. God is the gravitational center of our lives. So everything in life relates to God. From the Psalms, we learn that worshiping God is our central activity in life, not something that we need to get over to resume other activities. Ayon po kay C.S. Lewis, being a Christian means that every single act and feeling, every experience, whether pleasant or unpleasant, must be referred to God. Nawa ang Psalms maging sarili po nating mga panalangin as we seek to recognize God's true place as our gravitational center. So, diyan po nagtatapos ang ating pong pag-aaral ng Psalms. For our next session, please take time to read and study Ecclesiastes chapters 1 to 12. Basahin po natin ito and note your observations, what is happening in the passage, and what messages or themes are being conveyed by the writer. Then, yung ating pong interpretation. How do the passages relate to the overall study of the gospel? And what does the book say about God, Jesus, or the Holy Spirit? And of course, yung pong ating pong application. We write it down and pray to God to help us to apply the message about God and the gospel to our daily context. So, magbasa po tayo, write down our observations and insights, at magkita-kita po tayo sa ating pong susunod na video message on the Bible that Jesus read. God bless you and keep you.